"Look, your daughter has OnlyFans," the boy said, and the father's jaw dropped. It was a Saturday afternoon just before dinner when Elijah rang the doorbell. He almost turned around and left. His palms were sweaty, and the phone in his pocket felt like it weighed 100 pounds. But he didn't leave, because after everything she did, the mocking, the lies, the videos, he knew this was the only way anyone would ever believe him. The door opened. Her dad, still in a faded golf shirt and jeans, looked confused. "Can I help you?" Elijah cleared his throat. "Yeah, I go to West Ridge. I'm in junior year. Your daughter, Emily, she's been..." He stopped. No way to ease into it. No one ever listened when he played it soft, so he said it. "She has an OnlyFans." For a second, the man blinked like the words didn't register. Then, Elijah pulled out his phone, tapped 3 times, and turned the screen toward him. The silence was instant. Then came a sharp inhale, like the air had been punched out of the man's lungs. Behind them, someone was coming down the stairs. "Emily." "Dad?" she said, voice casual. "Who's that?" Elijah didn't flinch. He held up the phone a little higher. Emily's face drained. She knew exactly what was on it. The dad stood frozen, his jaw tight, his hands shaking as he took the phone. "Is this real?" he said, barely above a whisper. Elijah just nodded. "You think this is a joke?" the father growled, eyes locked on his daughter. Emily stood frozen halfway down the stairs, like time had just stopped. The look in her eyes wasn't fear. Not yet. It was calculation. Like she was searching for the fastest lie that could make all this go away. But she was already too late. Her dad's voice rose. "Answer me. Is this who you are now?" Emily stepped down one stair, then another. "Dad, it's not what he's showing you. It's not even that serious. It's just bikini pics, okay? Nothing worse than Instagram." Elijah's laugh came out sharp. "You had a whole VIP tier. You were charging guys $50 for custom requests. That sound like Instagram to you?" Emily's face twisted. "You're obsessed with me or something, huh? Been saving all my stuff like a creep?" But her dad wasn't even looking at Elijah anymore. He was staring at his daughter like she was a stranger. His voice dropped to a low growl. "I raised you better than this. What happened to you?" Emily's lip curled. "You raised me? You're barely home. You don't even know what grade I'm in." That hit like a slap. Elijah could feel the air tighten. The dad blinked, stunned. "You really want to go there?" Elijah stepped back, unsure if he was witnessing something he shouldn't. But then Emily turned, eyes locked on him with venom. "You're just mad I never looked at you." And there it was. The mask slipped. She didn't regret anything. She was just furious she got caught. "You're just mad I never looked at you." That line echoed through the room like poison. Elijah didn't answer right away. He could feel it in his chest, that slow burn. The same one he'd felt every time she walked past him in the hallway with that fake laugh, calling him Special Ed under her breath. The same burn from when she made that TikTok about his clothes, tagging it welfare efforts while everyone laughed. But he wasn't mad she didn't look at him. He was mad she saw him struggling and chose to crush him anyway. "I'm not mad you never looked at me," Elijah said quietly. "I'm mad you looked straight at me and still decided to hurt me." Emily's face cracked, just for a second. Her dad was still standing there, phone in hand, his knuckles white. "Go to your room," he said. "What?" "Now." She hesitated. Then, without another word, turned and stomped up the stairs. The moment her door slammed, the tension collapsed, like the house could finally breathe. Elijah stood by the doorway, unsure what to do. The dad sat down slowly on the arm of the couch, like he'd aged 5 years in 5 minutes. "I didn't know," he said. "I really didn't know." Elijah nodded. "Nobody does. That's why she gets away with it." There was a long pause. Then the dad asked, "How long's this been going on?" "Since the start of the school year," Elijah said. "She made it a game. Every week it was a new insult, a new post. I tried ignoring it, tried reporting it. Nothing worked." The man rubbed his face with both hands. "And today, This was your last straw. Elijah looked him in the eye. No, last week was. When she made that AI voiceover of me, saying I wet the bed. The man closed his eyes. She made an AI recording of you? The father asked, stunned. What kind of sick? He couldn't even finish the sentence. He just sat there, shaking his head like if he moved too fast, the truth might shatter him. Elijah didn't say anything. He didn't need to. The silence told enough. Upstairs, the muffled thump of music started leaking through the ceiling. Emily, pretending like none of this mattered, like she could just wait it out. Her father stood. She's been out of control for months, he muttered. The attitude, the secrets. But I thought, he caught himself. I thought maybe it was just senior year stress. College apps, hormones. He turned toward Elijah, and there was something new in his eyes now. Not anger, not pity, responsibility. I'm sorry, he said. For whatever that's worth. I should have seen it. Should have stopped it before it ever got this far. Elijah nodded once, slowly. You're the first person who said that. They stood in the quiet for a moment. Two strangers in a war they didn't start, but both ended up fighting. Then the father spoke again. Do you have proof? Screenshots? Videos? Elijah pulled out his phone, opened a folder labeled Emily Evidence. It was all there. The AI clip. The TikToks. The screenshots from her account. Her father took it and scrolled through with a grim face, jaw tightening more with every swipe. All right, he said finally, voice low and cold. I'm going to handle this, but not the way you think. What do you mean? I'm not just punishing her. I'm going to make her face what she's done, publicly. Elijah blinked. You're going to expose her? The dad looked up. She destroyed your name in front of the whole school. She made you a joke. So let's see how she handles the same spotlight. It didn't sound like revenge. It sounded like justice. Cold, measured, final. Elijah followed the man into the kitchen, where he placed the phone on the counter and pulled out a pen and notepad like he was planning a meeting, not a reckoning. We'll start with the principal, he said. I'll set up a meeting Monday morning. You'll be there. I want them to see what she's done. Not just to you, but her whole online mess too. Elijah nodded, hesitant. They usually cover for her. Her mom's a donor, right? Was, the man said. Her mother and I divorced 3 years ago. She left us with a name and a pile of bills. The school can decide what matters more, her money or their reputation. Elijah exhaled, some of the weight leaving his chest. For the first time, someone was actually standing beside him. But upstairs, the music had stopped. Suddenly, Emily's voice came echoing down. You think I don't know what you're doing? Her footsteps thundered down the stairs again. She turned the corner like a storm, holding her own phone up like a weapon. You're not going to turn me into some sob story, she snapped. I'll say he's stalking me. I'll say he hacked me. Her dad didn't flinch. Go ahead, say it. But when the school sees your account, your subscribers, your DMs, what story do you think they'll believe? Emily faltered, just for a breath. Then she turned to Elijah. You really think you're the victim here? Elijah's voice was steady now. No, I know I am. Her dad stepped between them. Go back upstairs. You've got one night to come up with the truth, because tomorrow you're telling it. Emily stared at them both, then turned slowly and walked away. Not fast, not stomping, just silent. And that silence was louder than any scream. Tomorrow you're telling the truth. The words followed her up the stairs like a sentence already passed. That night, Elijah couldn't sleep. He lay in bed replaying everything, her face, her threats, the way her dad didn't even blink when she tried to lie. Part of him expected her to post something, spin a new story, drop a screenshot out of context. But nothing came. No post, no messages, just silence. At school on Monday, the halls buzzed like they always did, but something felt off. Whispers seemed sharper, eyes lingered longer. Then Elijah's phone vibrated. Mr. Thompson, Emily's dad. Conference room B. Now. Elijah grabbed his backpack and walked. As he turned the corner near the main office, he saw Emily already inside. Her eyes met his through the glass, and she didn't look angry. She looked scared. Inside, the principal sat at the head of the table. Emily's dad stood behind her chair like a lawyer about to cross-examine. Elijah sat opposite them. "We've reviewed the material," the principal began. "This is serious. Emily, do you want to respond?" Emily didn't speak for a long time. Her mouth opened once, closed again. Then she said, barely above a whisper, "It was a joke, at first. But then people started laughing, and it just kept going." Her dad stared at her. "You humiliated someone. You built your ego on his pain." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't think anyone cared about him." The words hit Elijah like a slap. Honest. Brutal. The principal spoke again. "Emily, due to the severity of your actions, the school board will be notified. You'll face disciplinary action. You'll also issue a public apology to Elijah and to the student body." Emily didn't argue. She just nodded, quietly. Elijah looked at her, for the first time not with hate, but with something like pity. Because he realized she thought being invisible was worse than being cruel. The apology came that Friday. Assembly. Gym packed wall to wall. Phones out. Eyes waiting for drama. Emily stood on stage with the mic in her hand, and the weight of every fake laugh she'd ever caused sitting on her shoulders. Her voice shook at first. "I want to apologize to Elijah, and to everyone I've hurt trying to make myself feel bigger. What I did wasn't funny. It wasn't harmless. It was cruel." Gasps rippled through the crowd. No one had ever seen her like this. No makeup, no filters, just red eyes and the raw look of someone finally realizing they weren't untouchable. Elijah sat in the front row, hands folded in his lap. He didn't smile, didn't nod. He just listened. "I used to think making people laugh was enough," Emily continued. "That if everyone was watching me, I mattered. But I didn't earn that attention. I stole it. I turned someone's real pain into entertainment." She paused. "And that's over now." Phones went wild. TikToks posted within minutes. Some students rolled their eyes. Others whispered things like, "I didn't know she could cry." When it ended, Emily stepped off stage and walked straight toward Elijah, cameras still rolling. "I don't expect forgiveness," she said, "but I needed you to hear me say it." Elijah looked at her, not the persona, not the performance, but the person. "You said no one cared about me," he replied, "but I think what you meant was no one cared about you." She didn't deny it. She just nodded. The words settled between them, heavier than any insult ever thrown. Emily blinked fast like she wanted to say something, but there was nothing left to say. For once, silence wasn't a weapon. It was mercy. That night, Elijah walked home alone. No crowd, no camera. Just the quiet sound of sneakers on pavement and the soft buzz of a message in his pocket. "Thank you for telling the truth, Mr. Thompson." He smiled, faint and tired. The storm had passed, but the cleanup had only just begun. At school, things didn't change overnight. Some kids still whispered when he passed. Some rolled their eyes like they missed the old drama. But others, kids he barely knew, nodded at him, said hey in the halls. One girl even asked to partner with him in class. He wasn't invisible anymore. Emily, meanwhile, faded from the spotlight she once owned. No more hallway poses. No more loud laughs. She showed up to school quiet, hair tied back, hood up, like she didn't want to be seen at all. Elijah caught glimpses of her sometimes, eating lunch alone, walking the long way around the lockers she used to own like a throne. He didn't feel joy seeing her like that. Just balance. Then one afternoon she slid a note into his locker. No name, just one sentence. "It was never really about you." And he got it, all of it. The mocking, the obsession, the games. It was never about hate, it was about hiding. She saw his silence and used it like a mirror for her own. She didn't destroy him because he was weak. She did it because he was whole. It clicked for Elijah days after the assembly, when he sat alone in the school library, flipping through a yearbook he never cared about before. Page after page of faces, fake smiles, perfectly posed memories. But he noticed something now. Emily was in all of them, center frame, surrounded, but somehow always alone. It wasn't power she'd been chasing. It was proof. Proof that she mattered, that someone was watching. He remembered how she'd light up when people laughed, even if it was at someone else's expense, and how she'd stare at her phone, refreshing likes like oxygen. It didn't excuse what she did, but it explained it. And Elijah, for the first time, didn't feel like a victim. He felt like someone who'd survived, something real, something ugly, and walked through it without becoming like her. The school started to shift too. The principal launched a new digital conduct policy. Teachers started watching student behavior online more closely. And in a rare move, Elijah was asked to speak during the next assembly. He said no at first, didn't want to become a symbol. But something in him changed when he walked past a freshman getting cornered by 3 seniors in the hallway. And this time, he stepped in. "Nope, not happening. Try someone else." The seniors backed off. The freshman just stared at him, wide-eyed. That was the moment Elijah understood something. Telling the truth isn't just about exposing the bad. It's about giving others permission to see it. By spring, things were different. Not perfect, but real. Elijah still kept to himself most days, still wore his hood up, still sat in the back row. But now people saw him, not as a joke, not as background, as someone who'd stood up when it counted. The quiet had power now. Emily never fully returned to who she was. She didn't try. She dropped cheer, deleted every account linked to her past, and started working part-time at her dad's hardware store after school. She never spoke to Elijah again. Not really. Just a nod here, a glance there, and once, in the parking lot, she mouthed the word sorry when no one was looking. He nodded back. That was enough. When graduation rolled around, Elijah didn't expect anything special. He wore his cap, took the photo, smiled once, maybe twice. But as he walked across the stage, there was a beat of silence, then clapping. Real clapping, not polite, not forced, just honest. And in the crowd, her dad stood, not holding a sign, not shouting, just clapping. That night, Elijah stood outside under a sky full of stars, breathing in the air like he hadn't in years. No noise, no lies, no pretending, just the truth. And it felt good. Sometimes justice doesn't come in thunder. It comes in a boy who refused to stay silent and a girl who finally listened.